Hello, everybody. So today I'm going to be doing a deck tech or deck list on my Illuna Apex of Wishes deck. A user named Mitchell commented on one of my last Illuna videos and asked for a deck tech. I love this deck so much that I've made it in paper. So let's start out with the commander. Um, Flying, Trample, Mutate 6. That's the main thing about this deck. You never want to cast this card for its actual cost. You want to mutate it. So she's 6 to cast. Whenever this creature mutates, exile all cards from the top of your library until you exile a non-permanent card. Put that card onto the battlefield or into your hand. So how we abuse this ability is we only have one permanent card in our entire deck. That card is Omniscience. Omniscience says you may cast spells from your hand without paying their mana costs. So everything else in this deck is an instant or a sorcery. Now, how do you win with only instants or sorceries? You win with things like Storm. Because for Storm, when you cast this spell, copy it for each spell cast before it this turn. You may choose new copies. You may choose new targets for the copies. So, we have to have things like Hard Evidence, because when you mutate onto creatures. So Hard Evidence makes a crab and makes a clue token. So you can draw cards off of this, and you have a creature you can mutate onto on turn 1. Opt, just get through your deck. Strike it rich, more turn 1 ramp. Anticipate, just ways to get through your deck. Most of this deck is cantrips and ways to find more cards so that you can keep casting spells for free with Omniscience, and that way you can build up a massive storm count. Chart a Course, just like I said, more card draw. Braid's good removal. You can either kill artifacts or creatures. This is removal or card draw. Double cast, there's a lot of copying of spells in this deck, because sometimes you need to copy a big draw spell, or sometimes you need to copy a turn spell, and to really get things going. Dragon Fodder, more things for you to mutate onto. Grape Shot, this is a win condition. You just cast all your spells, you keep casting them, and you deal 1 damage for each spell you cast. More token makers, more removal, just another way to sift through your deck, throw a possibility. Thundering Rebuke, more removal. Shatterstorm, this is another win condition because it has Storm on it, so you can just make them however many squirrels you want per however many spells you cast. Emergent Sequence. Emergent Sequence is great in this deck because it gives you a creature as well as a land, so you get to play her a turn earlier, and you already have the creature to mutate onto. Explore is nice because it ramps us as well as giving us card draw. Gaia's Blessing. So one of the downsides of this deck is that it says just you exile them. They don't go back into your deck, so if Omniscience is really far down in your deck and you only have like 6 cards left, you need ways to shuffle your graveyard back into your deck so you don't run out of cards, so you can cast storm spells forever, or just spells forever. So this puts 3 cards back and you draw 1. Just some nice early ramp. Regrowth, okay, so I'll explain these. These are not only used to just get other spells back and win. There is a way to go infinite in this deck. So you have Regrowth, and you have Dryad's Revival, as well as Recollect. Now, the infinite by itself is not scary. All you do is you grab Dryad's Revival with Recollect, and then you grab Recollect with Dryad's Revival, or Regrowth. You do this an infinite amount of times because that gives you an infinite storm count. So in this game, I typically go up to 30 or 40, and then I use my storm card. So I just go Regrowth, Recollect, Regrowth, Recollect, Regrowth, Recollect, and do that over and over again, and build up that storm count. In addition, this can grab things like draw spells, or turn spells, or graveyard reshuffles. The usage for these cards is very vast. This deck is very complex the more you play it, because you'll learn that sometimes it exiles almost all of your win conditions, and you have to come up with very unique ways to win. Subrolling Migration, just another way to get Illuna on the field. Arcane Infusion. Flashback is good in this deck because now Omniscience says only from your hand. You may cast spells from your hand, so you still have to pay for flashback costs. But since we have turn spells in this deck, flashback comes in handy because next turn you can cast this from your graveyard to help you find more gas to help you go off if you couldn't go off in one turn. Also, there are ways to play, like you saw, the treasure tokens or make treasure tokens. And if you use the spells that make treasure tokens, you can sometimes get enough mana to cast flashback on the same turn you go off with Illuna, which gives you more value and more possibilities of doing your one-turn kill. Another copy spell that has flashback, very good. Another copy spell, another ramp and draw spell. These cards are very important. Clear the Mind helps you do two things. If you draw Omniscience in this deck, you're screwed because you don't ever want to do that. So Clear the Mind lets you could discard it with something like Honor of the God Pharaoh, Honor of the God Pharaoh, because you can discard a card, draw two, and then use Clear the Mind to shuffle Omniscience back into your library so that you can then Illuna again and try to get it. Because if you draw Omniscience, you have to play it the normal way unless you can somehow put it back in your library. So, Clear the Mind helps you do that, but Clear the Mind also helps you in those situations where you've exiled almost all of your deck and you need to have a deck, so you shuffle your graveyard back in. There is basically a way to do this an infinite amount of times, and so you'll never run out of spells if you do it correctly. Secrets of the Golden City, Ascend, draw 2. If you have the City's Blessing, draw 3. Solve the equation. This helps you find win conditions. It helps you find whatever you need. Very good card in this deck. Thirst for Discovery, draw 3, discard 2. Very good for helping you just burn through your deck. Good removal. This is another way to just play Illuna. This card's great because it gives you a token as well as drawing cards. So it makes Illuna and gives you more gas to go off with. More tokens. Ramp and draw. This is just good removal. More ways to play Illuna. More ways to play Illuna faster. Good ramp cards. Dryad's Revival, same kind of thing as Regrowth. Grow from the Ashes, more good ramp. Recollect, same as Dryad's Revival. Roiling Regrowth, very good. Sack a land, get 2 out of your deck. This does a lot. Gives you a counter, 2 life, play an additional land this turn, draw a card. So when you play that for free, it's a lot of value. Prismari Command's nice because in 1v1s, what you like to do with this, or what I like to do with this anyway, is I like to blow up opponents' mana rocks and make my own treasure token, because it's a huge tempo swing. Behold the Multiverse is nice, because if you don't have the ability to play it for free, you can at least pay it for 2 with a Foretell cost. Contact the Other Plane's nice. When you roll high, it's great, but when you don't, it's like, bleh. But when you cast it for free, it doesn't matter too much. Drawn from Dreams, just a way to sift through your deck and find you the cards you need to continue to push yourself through your library to cast more spells. Because this deck's all about casting as many spells as possible, so you can just use Storm cards and win the game. Pirate's Pillage. Like I said, when you cast these cards for free and they make treasure tokens, it gives you the ability to play flashback cards out of your yard as well. Same here. More ramp. The instant speed token making is amazing, because if you're playing against a deck with a lot of removal, you can play this at instant speed, get your tokens at the end of their turn when they're tapped out, and then go off, because they didn't think you were going to be able to make tokens. Eureka Moment, card draw and ramp. Card draw, turn spells, commence the endgame. This is good because if you haven't made a token yet, this can't be countered. You make a token as big as the amount of cards in your hand, and you draw 2. So this kind of does everything you want in the deck. This card is arena only, but let me tell you something. This card is absolutely insane. Seek 3 non-land cards in your hand, perpetually gain 1 less to cast. So when you cast this with Omniscience out, there's like almost no way to lose, because you get 3 more cards out of your deck, and you play those for free, drawing you more cards, etc., etc. Karn's Temporal Sundering, with Illuna out, this is another turn spell. River's Rebuke. In this deck, you can't always storm off, so you need to have ways to just reset your opponent's board so that you're at least far enough ahead that you could win without the crazy storm stuff. Another turn spell. Overflowing Insight, this card will win you games because it is the ultimate gas enabler. You just play this, draw 7, and there's almost no way you can brick after that. Cunning Pack, this is another way to win. This is why we do have so many turn spells in the deck. It's because some of our storm cards depend on creatures. And so we don't want our opponent to be able to have the chance to board wipe us, because this deck has 0 counter magic, because counter magic in this deck, in my opinion, is wrong because it bricks you. It's like, unless it's like a Cryptic Command, because Cryptic can at least draw 1 card. But if your counter spell can't draw a card, I would not play it in this deck. Creative Outburst, very good card, dealing 5 damage to look at the top 5 and grab another card to get us through the deck faster. Omniscience, the main sake of the deck. Our mana base is as follows: 9 snow-covered islands, 7 snow-covered mountains, 7 snow-covered forest, 1 river glide pathway, 1 steam vents, 1 storm-carved coast, 1 sulphur falls, 1 crag crown pathway, 1 rockfall vale, 1 rootbound crag, 1 stomping ground, 1 bar channel pathway, 1 breeding pool, 1 dream root cascade, 1 hinterland harbor, 1 vine glimmer snarl, and 1 command tower. My final thoughts about this deck: honestly, it's extremely fast, it's extremely potent. I have it in paper, like I said. In paper, you can do a little bit more crazy stuff and get it going a lot faster just because your card pool's more expanded. But in Arena, you can reliably do this on turn 4 and sometimes on turn 3. It's very quick, it's very hard to interact with, other than the fact that you can blow up tokens, but my win rate with this deck is off the charts, and it's really fun, so I really recommend it. And, well, thank you all so much for watching this video. Please like and subscribe. Please come back for more Magic content. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Peace out.